Holy freaking moly. Helldivers, Helldivers, Helldivers. It's been a crazy 24 hours with so much going on. I knew full well this morning there was going to be a bit of an obliteration, so we didn't upload this morning because I didn't want to give you guys half of it. But we finally have everything that has dropped from the patch. We've got updates to new missions. We have got a new major order, which is exactly what I thought it was going to be at some stage over these next few weeks. So we're freaking gassed to see what it is that's going on, and we've got all of it entailed for you guys here on the channel. So we're going to dive straight into it. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. And check out our sponsor, GamerSups, the company that offers a variety of gaming energy drinks, nutrition, supplements, and gaming themed accessories. Their energy drinks are keto friendly, low in calories and low in sugar, and come in a variety of flavors, with which my favorite one is lean. It's banging and peachy. Their supplements include a caffeine free option as well, and they also include waifu cups and apparel and collectibles. Head down to the link in the description, use code CloudPlays, and right now it will get you worldwide free shipping. Yep, you heard me right. If you're not in the US, this is going to save you a bomb. So get down into the description, click the link, and go and purchase from GamerSups now. Thank you. Let's dive on in. Okay. Now, before we get into the video, we have got this right here. The major order for the Terminid control system has failed, and Meridia is lost. Helldivers, you must deactivate the TCS. So what is it we've actually got to do? We've got a 5-day and 20 hours remaining on this major order, where the timer-side exposure has been linked to the hyper-reproductive adaptation, causing massive bug outbreaks. We knew this was going to happen, but essentially we've got to deactivate the Terminid control systems on Errata Prime, Fenrir 3, and Turing. This is going to be a basic repeat of what it was when we set up the original TCSs. This is going to be a big one. I love being over on the bug system. I don't mind the TCS systems. We can just get in, get it gone, and get it out of the way, get it done with. We've got 6 days to complete it. Bring it on. 6 days on the bugs? Yes, freaking please. Now, we've got quite a long video today because this is going to have the patch and that entailed, so we're going to dive straight into it. Make sure you head on over to Errata Prime, Fenrir, and Turing. Let's get these TCS systems turned off and out the freaking way, and we can just dive on in to some more bug crazy squishingness. Anywho, big one today is we have got a ginormous patch, and it is taking a bit of a ripple effect in the community. Some positive, some negative, but we're going to have to take a look and break down everything that we've got in here today. So this is going to be a lengthy video because as far as balancing goes, this has been crazy. We have got a bloody total point when it comes to the primary, secondary, and support weapons that have been changed. It's been mad, but we're going to jump straight into it. They state here for balancing armors with armor rating above 100 now also reduce damage on headshots, and the victory poses will now only play for the extracted, not stolen valor on my ship, and the burning damage is now reduced by 15%. Big, really big changes. The burning is essentially going to be a huge one because we all know that we freaking hate burning at the moment. It's causing an absolute nightmare. But as far as the primary, secondary, and support weapons are included for, we have got we've got some questionable ones to say the least. Yesterday we had Spitz say that there was around 24 changes and only 2 of them were nerfs. So I can tell you that this is definitely not the case. But nonetheless, we have got the crossbow has now got slightly smaller explosion, increased stagger, decreased amount of maximum mags from 12 to 8, an increased number of magazines received from supply from 6 to 8, and slight reduction in the ergonomics with muzzle velocity increased as well. Not a massive change because not many people really use it. The one thing that you will be gutted about though is the Quasar cannon. They've increased the recharge time by 5 seconds. So unnecessary, especially when we've got the EAT, which is, we're not even going to get into it. The Quasar Cannon is going to pretty much be an RIP. It's not going to be as used as much as it was beforehand. So for me, this is a negative, but nonetheless, it's still a sideways step as far as change-wise goes anyway. The Adjudicator, though, has got some big changes. A full auto is now the default fire mode with reduced recoil, increased maximum mags from 6 to 8, and they've increased the number of magazines received from resupply from 6 to 8 as well, and they've now placed amongst the assault rifles. So this one could be a little bit more of a viable option. The recoil on this was freaking crazy and it bounced around like a nutter, but it's one of those. I really enjoyed it as it was, so now they've had these buff points in there, I think it's going to make it more viable. The laser cannon has slightly increased damage and slightly reduced damage versus large volume bodies, so again, it might be a bit more of a viable option to say the least. Punisher Plasma, they've decreased the maximum mag size from 12 to 8 and increased the amount of magazines received from resupply from 6 to 8. They've increased the projectile speed, but will still keep a similar range, and they've decreased the damage fall off on the explosion, which is actually really, really helpful. They've now placed it in the energy weapons category, so they've essentially just moved it around and given it a few tweaks, which is what we wanted to see. The Blitzer has now got an increased shots per minute from 30 to 45, and they've now placed that in the energy weapons slot. I don't know why they're moving it around. It needs to be in the patch notes. I don't think it will like it's a much of a patch change per se. You can kind of figure that out when you get to the list. Now, real quickly, before we get into the next topic, we're giving away a copy of Helldivers 2, and don't worry, if you've got the game, we're giving away the money equivalent in super credits. If you guys want to get involved with it, all you have to do is head down into the comments section and stick in a star emoji, and it'll enter you in. It's extremely simple. We're going to announce that on the community page here on the channel, and in the giveaway announcement page in the Discord, which is over 11,000 people large right now. So head down there and make sure you're involved in it, just in case it is that you do win. Let's carry on. The Eruptor has a decreased number of maximum magazine from 12 to 6, which is a 50% decrease, and the explosion damage drops off slightly faster. Jeez, that is mad. The Sickle has got a decreased amount of magazine size from 6 to 3? Why are we dropping these magazines so steeply? Another 50% decrease. The Scythe has obviously got its damage increase from 300 to 350, with again a loss of 2 total mags. The Railgun, they've increased the armor penetration in both safe mode and unsafe mode, and the Stagger Force slightly reduced. So this might be a little bit more viable now with the increased armor penetration. It's not saying it's a slight increase, so it could be quite usable. The Heavy Machine Gun has the third-person crosshair enabled, and the Diligence Counter Sniper has a damage increase of 128 to 140 with ergonomics improved. There are a few other ones right here that we've got though, including the Diligence, the Redeemer, and the Peacemaker. They've had some increases in damage, but I wouldn't say it was anything too increased. I don't really see a lot of these as like generic buffs. Obviously they are buffs, the numbers have gone up, as well as the Dagger. The Liberator has also had a damage increase, and the Liberator Concussive has also had a damage increase. So the damage on the Liberator Concussive maybe a little bit more of a viable option now. I could see myself using it. I quite liked it anyway, so yeah, nonetheless. The Dominator's obviously had a damage decrease for some reason, because that's a weird one. I don't understand that. But anyway, the Guard Dog has had a decreased damage by 30%. That was bound to happen at some stage or another, although if they could have just made it that it wouldn't kill us, that would have been fabulous. The Airburst Rocket Launcher, the one that we've all been looking for. The launcher will no longer detonate when shot near stratagems, HM turrets, sentries, resupplies, and other Helldivers, and they've reduced the proximity radius. So thank you very much. You definitely listened to that one. There is some changes to stratagems that you guys can see on screen right now, including the Machine Gun Sentry, Tesla Tower, Spear, and the Airburst Rocket Launcher, which is obviously listed already, and some changes to the enemies that, again, you can see right here, but there's not really anything too heavy on this one. The Hulks have now force required them to stagger slightly increased, and yeah, the reduced on the damage for the Hulk Scorcher's direct flamethrower, which is actually really good, and I'm so freaking glad that that's finally happened. This is a really, really weird one. Really weird one. The Bile Spewer and the Nursing Spewer's move speed slightly reduced. That wasn't what was wrong with them. Stop them from having such potent freaking spit, for God's sake. And a few extra increases there. There's been some changes, but again, nothing too over the top. I'm liking the decreases in fire damages and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't really know how else to play this. There's some gameplay changes where they've made minor level generation improvements, and they've added settings in the options menu for selected disable automatic climbing and vaulting while sprinting, which will help you guys quite a lot with resupplies and stuff like that, because you won't have to just jump on side of the L-pod points anymore. So, yep, some small changes again there. Spread Democracy mission, otherwise known as the Raise the Flag, can now be enjoyed on a higher difficulty. We'll get into that in just a moment. That is a very, very interesting one. That, for me, is probably the biggest part of this. A shed ton of crash fixes, of which I'm not going to break down for you guys because there is absolutely loads of them. Crash fixes have all been sorted. They've fixed loads of bugs and loads of issues. There is absolutely loads. There is one which the Brown Yoda will be gutted about, because using the rock, paper, scissors in front of the ship no longer causes the player to fall out into space. So he's going to be gutted. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire patch over and done with that one. This is going to be a fun time. Seeing how this will all impact the game is going to be definitely interesting. We've seen how this has impacted the community thus far, and it's not been too incredible. People are not overly happy with it, although a lot of people are obviously excited for some of the weapons that they haven't been using, and they've now got a viable option to use them. So for me, it is what it is, and I think it might be a bit of a sidestep. We've got some things that are now not viable and some things that are more viable. RIP the Quasar Cannon, and you can now raise your flag in a higher difficulty. So they're probably your biggest key features. That's kind of depressing, but nonetheless, they've done absolutely loads, and they've worked really freaking hard on this one. So massive kudos to them. Now, unfortunately, that is we've got time for today. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe and post notifications turned on. This was a really long one because a lot has happened, and we wanted to kind of keep you guys in tuned as much as we. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'm really sorry for such a long video indeed, but yeah, you've got everything you need now. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate your faces. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the clouds.